And hello. All right. So let me shut this wonderful music off by Mr. Soko. Oh God. And I have to find my I gotta find my webcam. But I'm just going through the motions real quick and then we're gonna have some announcements. I'm gonna talk real quick. How y'all doing? I am MJ Jackson. I'm on the StreamYard team. It's so fun. I like it. And thank you, Mr. Kevin L. Benton and Alfredo Valentine for some of the overlays that you guys hooked me up with. I appreciate it. One day I'm gonna learn how to do all this stuff myself, so I don't have to bother y'all. Oh, so somebody did not hear any music. Okay, doesn't matter. I'll use music next time when I use my other device. But that's good. No music, no music. That's fine. But so let's get into something weird. All right, I'll be right back. All right, so what's up? You are now streaming live with MJ Jackson. So I do have an announcement for you guys. I told you guys I was reaching out and just let me know if you can hear me good. Let me know if you can hear me pretty good. I did mention that's by Mr. Manny Vids that intro. Yeah, that intro game is nice, Mr. Lot. He done took care of almost all of the urban apologist community. So thank you, Manny. Appreciate that. All right, got some announcements. So on July the 3rd, maybe around 2:30 Central Standard Time, I'm going to be interviewing Dr. John Oswald. I wish I had the book in my hand, but I don't. On his book, excuse me, on his book, The Bible Amongst the Myths. Okay. So if you want to get ahead of the game, you can go get that book, The Bible Amongst the Myths, and read at least 4 or 5 chapters because we're going to get into some of the concepts of myth as a worldview. I've been holding off on doing something on my own on that, and I'll explore that with y'all by myself. But who better to talk about that than the man who wrote the book himself, Dr. John Oswald. And Dr. John Oswald, I mean, also when you get a chance, go look him up on YouTube. He has a whole bunch of lectures as well on YouTube, and you can check him out there. So we'll be doing that on July the 3rd. I'm going to be talking with Dr. Jonathan Pritchett of Trinity Radio. Dr. Pritchett is also one of my professors at Trinity College of the Bible and Theological Seminary. And we're going to be talking about apologetic methodology. And we're not going to beat up on any methods or anything like that. What's up, SOC? We're not going to beat up on anybody else's method, but does the Bible restrict us to using one method over the other? We'll talk about what methods have been historically used in church history. Are some methods more innovative? Like, did some Johnny come lately come and tell us that we can only use this method because it's more God honoring? Yet when we look at the history of the church, that method is nowhere to be found until he hits the scene. So we'll talk about stuff like that. Yes, I did take a little bit of a shot right there, just a little bit of a shot. But these are the type of questions that I have, and nobody needs to feel bad because they prefer another method over another, or they see this method being used a little bit more frequently in church history. I mean, those are red flags. That's like looking, I mean, we do. I'm gonna leave it alone, but we're gonna talk apologetic methodology and what's best for urban apologists as well. All right, so um, everybody knows about the shooting that has happened in Atlanta, and it's pretty tragic. And if you didn't know, now you know that I'm a former police officer, and I have oftentimes kept my opinions to myself and in private. I do have friends who are still on the force, and I respect them. I'm sympathetic toward them. So a lot of times I keep my opinions out of it because um, they got a job to do. We all have a job to do. Everybody wants to go home to their families and things like that. But we do have to talk about this, and I want to talk about it from both the position of a civilian and um in a position of a person who has worked in law enforcement, who has been through the police academy, who has talked about case law, arrest, search, and seizure laws, and things like that. So one thing, one thing that I want everybody to go study tonight or look up when you have these conversations with people, you want to be able to reference what's called case law. Okay, and one case law in particular that everybody should familiarize themselves with is Tennessee v. Garner. Okay, Tennessee v. Garner. All right, so if you don't remember nothing else, remember the case law for Tennessee v. Garner. Like other aspects of law enforcement that are governed by case law, you know how a police officer has to read you your rights. Well, guess what? That came from case law as well, with Miranda versus a certain state. Okay, so um, case law governs these things. So with the whole Rashard Brooks situation, and I'm giving it from my perspective, being a former police officer trained by one of the best police academies. I think Fort Worth Police Academy, they give you some of the best training. And I think maybe one of the things that we were trained to do, first and foremost, we got up to almost 3 to 4 miles a day, hopping at a 7-minute pace. And one of the reasons why we had to stay in good shape is so we could be able to chase fleeing suspects. Right off the bat, when a suspect flees, you go chase them, you don't shoot them in the back. Now, if you do shoot them in the back, that's what's called an illegal seizure. So let's talk about Tennessee v. Garner real quick. Okay, Tennessee v. Garner, and this is in 1985, is a civil case in which the Supreme Court of the United States held that under the Fourth Amendment, okay, everybody needs to know what the Fourth Amendment. When a law enforcement officer is pursuing a fleeing suspect, the officer may not use deadly force to prevent escape unless the officer has probable cause to believe that the suspect poses a significant threat of death or serious physical injury to the officer or others. It was found that use of deadly force to prevent escape is an unreasonable seizure under the Fourth Amendment in the absence of probable cause that the fleeing suspect posed a physical danger. Okay, by now everybody has seen the video of what happened. I mean, we've also been seeing cops showing the video as well, but some of the videos that they show um, don't show what happened after the gentleman was shot, but that's neither here nor there. If you watch the video, of course, you've seen that, it started off okay, and clearly he was drunk. Okay, everybody knew, or he was, in a better word is intoxicated. Everybody knew that the gentleman is intoxicated. Now, as a police officer, when you're dealing with an intoxicated person, if you have to go hands-on, when we say hands-on, when police officers are hands-on, that means if you have to get physical with them, right then and there, an intoxicated person, And when I was in the world, one of my rules was I wasn't going to get into a bar fight if I was drunk. But that's neither here nor there. You don't have a fight if you're drunk because you're going to lose every time. So, likewise, a police officer is at an advantage if the person is intoxicated. Now, if they're on PCP, he might be at a disadvantage because those type of people don't feel pain. But a person who is drunk or intoxicated in some type of way is at a serious disadvantage. Now, take that, and you also have two officers at that, which gives more officer safety, what we would call officer safety. Okay, so you have two officers dealing with one intoxicated suspect, and you have better chances for all parties to go to their destinations in one piece. Okay, but of course we know that things went south. Now, when you go back and you watch those videos, and I'm not making a judgment here. I think that things need to play out. But of course, we know that right now we're living in a pretty crazy climate, and things are heightened and tensions are high. It's right before an election year and things like that, so it's pretty tough. I don't have to make these decisions. I'm just giving everybody my perspective here. But when the suspect got the taser from the officer, okay, one of the officers had already deployed their taser. Okay, fine. The suspect got the taser from the other officer, and the suspect is running away from both officers. And he's about to get away because he got a nice little. If he kick it into gear, and if he's not too drunk, he might get away. But he's running, and he's holding the taser behind him. Now, the taser, if I'm not mistaken, it's been a while since I've been a police officer. The taser can only go so far to hit its target. So it's not like a bullet. It's not like a gun that has a certain amount of range. It would only go so far, 12 to 24 feet, I believe. Okay. And it's going to be a 5-second ride. So the duration of the incapacitation for the taser, and I could be wrong, it's been a minute, it's 5 seconds long, and the taser is anywhere from 12 to 24 feet, depending on what cartridge you have on there. Okay. So as the suspect is fleeing, he shoots the taser, just, blindly kind of, shooting it from him. He's trying to get away. He's not trying to kill anybody, but he's trying to get away. And he deployed, if everybody go and listens to the video, the suspect deploys the taser. And it doesn't look like he hits anything, but he deploys it. And once a taser is deployed, in order to deploy it again, you have to take the cartridge off and put another cartridge on. Usually the other cartridge is at the bottom of the taser, or maybe it's somewhere on the belt. But at that point, once the taser is deployed, it can't be used again, except only in the fashion of a stun gun, and you have to actually be on the person to get contact. So after the taser was deployed, we'll have to go and we'll have to listen to see how many seconds or how much time between when the taser was deployed, which hit nothing because the suspect did shoot the taser, but he did not turn around, stop, and shoot to engage. Obviously, he was trying to get away. Okay. But the taser was deployed, and then there was a lapse of time when the officer took out his gun or either already had it out and shot him in the back, which is a telltale sign. The bullets entered the back, which indicates that the suspect was fleeing. Okay. You got a fleeing suspect, and I already gave everybody the case law to go look up, to go study. And in conjunction with the case law, also go look up the Fourth Amendment on if a seizure of a person on what standards is a seizure legal. So I think that it was an unjustified shooting. Is it murder? Well, it was a few more things that happened after the suspect went down, kicking and other things, and one of the officers has already agreed to spill the beans, so to say. My opinion is you don't shoot a fleeing suspect unless you think that they're going to, let's say that you're in an active shooting situation and somebody's shooting up a school, and you know you have reason to think that if they get away, they're going to go shoot some more little kids. Well, fine. I kind of get it. And then I do understand that adrenaline is rushing and people have to make split decisions. But you know, there is training. There is in-service training every 2 years. There's use of force training that officers go through. There is continuous training. And when you got two officers, a drunk suspect who's trying to get away, who deploys a taser, and that taser becomes useless at that point, I just don't see how you can justify the shooting. Well, that's all I got. I think Chris Featherstone is getting ready to come on, and y'all can go chat with him. But I'm just testing out this equipment to see how it sounds. I got I got I have make sure I got the right one up. There we go. I don't know what's going on. See, gotta practice at this. I've been using XSplit for too long. But it's tough, man. So I think we all need to pray a little bit more, and try to be as charitable as we can, but clear-headed as we can, and thinking logical and clearly. And let's refer to these case laws here, because we got laws on the books that a lot of times the laws on the books are not being referenced, in my opinion. But we got laws on the books that set precedents, and I meant to go over what case law does, but Nefertiti is an attorney, so one day she can talk to us about case law and how uh, legal precedents are set based on case law. But I'm sad because life is precious. From the womb to the tomb, life is precious. Even the life of a drunk man, and we've come to find out that as soon as a person get killed, there's a system, and a lot of people don't want to talk about systems, but there's a system in place, even in the media, that seeks to go ahead and demonize the person as soon as they get killed. And that's no good either, especially coming from Christians. Uh, so my heart hurts for the loss of life. Uh, Also, I mean, I feel bad for some of the good police officers that are out there, because not all police officers are bad. I think they want to go home too. Uh, and I know several good police officers. And to be perfectly honest with you, if I was in shape, I would probably still, I would probably still be a police officer. But I kind of got out of shape and went back to school and lost track of how many hours that I needed to complete for my T close license. But let's pray for our officers, pray for our leaders. Let's be prayerful even of ourselves. And I'm a part of a few committee groups with Nefertiti, and hopefully we all can come together and can start contributing to solutions. But God bless you all, and you wonderful people. Have a good night, and I'll see y'all this upcoming Tuesday. God bless.